Ladies and gentlemen, boys and gophers, welcome back to the channel. My name is Mark Roden, and today we're going to start a new series. Probably going to do hopefully one of these videos per week, and it's going to be ranking every car in a certain class. Right now we're going to start with manufacturers, so we're going with my second favorite manufacturer of all time, Koenigsegg. Koenigsegg is 100% my favorite supercar hypercar brand, without a doubt. I love Koenigsegg, but Koenigsegg actually doesn't have that much of a lineup, to be honest, and the majority of their cars are just like kind of like higher trim levels technically, so I'm only including 10 of them because the rest of them are just like, oh, Azero R, or Regera R, Azure RS, and then Koenigsegg CC, or I mean CC8S. You know what I mean? There's a bunch of like weird little trim levels, so I'm not going to include all of them, but we do have 10, and there's pretty much only, I think, 10 anyway, so ranking the 10 best Koenigsegg's from worst to best, pretty much. Really quick, guys, before we get into the video, over 80% of you guys are not subscribed to the channel, so if you really want to support the channel any more than you already are, please hit that subscribe button. Also, let me know what other car brand that you'd like to see me rank all the vehicles in. Obviously, if it's a brand like Toyota, I'm not going to be able to rank every single generation of every single car that they've ever made, but we could do like, we'll figure it out when we get there. But let me know what other car brands you'd like to see me rank. But without further ado, let's get right into the video with number 10. Alrighty, pal. Coming in at the number 10 spot is going to the Azero R. To put into some context really quick, we are not the base model Azera, because there is a Koenigsegg Azera technically, is not on this list. The reason why is because I already have the Azure R and I already have the Azure RS in this list, so I didn't want to include another Azera when it's just worse than the other two in every way possible, so that's why it's not here. But the Azure R comes with a 4.7 liter twin turbocharged V8 making 947 horsepower, and it is rear wheel drive. It's really cool, but it's kind of like the base model Koenigsegg, if there's even a thing really. Like it's a Koenigsegg, so technically a base model Koenigsegg is still a Koenigsegg, but yeah, it doesn't do anything super special when you compare it to like the other cars in Koenigsegg's lineup. It is really beautiful. I think it looks great. Actually, probably one of the better looking Koenigseggs in my opinion, but besides that, it's nothing super influential. Coming in at the number 9 spot is going to the CC8S. This is, in case you don't know, the very first ever Koenigsegg built, at least hypercar Koenigsegg built. I'm sure Koenigsegg back in the day built like some freaking typewriters or something, and people are going to be like, no, you're wrong, where's the typewriters? Like, we're not going to rank Lamborghini's tractors, we're not going to rank Koenigsegg's typewriters. The CC8S comes with a 4.6 liter supercharged V8 making 655 horsepower, and it is rear wheel drive. 655 horsepower, by the way, when it came out was insane. That was back in like the early 2000s, and that was a hypercar level. Nowadays, yes, most supercars are making 655 horsepower. Even some muscle cars are making more than that nowadays, which is a little bit crazy, but this is a 20-year-old car. The only thing I don't like about the CC8S and what really brought it down here is, even though yes, it's like the start of the brand, I feel like every other car company had a much better start to their brand. Like, think about Lamborghini and you look at the Miura and you're like, that is a Lamborghini. You think of McLaren and you think of the F1 and you're like, that is the McLaren. Ferrari with the 250 GTO, you're like, that's the Ferrari. Koenigsegg's CC8S isn't really anything like super groundbreaking, and kind of sucks. Coming in at number 8, however, is going to a little bit of a better CC8S, the CCXR. Once again, there was like a CCXS, there was a CCX, a CCR. There's a bunch of different trim levels, but these are the only two CC cars. Actually, that's not true. There's 2 more that we're going to be including. These are the only 2 from the first generation that are like relevant enough to have a big enough change, so that's why they're here. The CCXR comes with a 4.7 liter supercharged V8 making 806 horsepower, and it is rear wheel drive. Huge increase in my opinion from the CC8S, much better than the CC8S in every way. Yes, the CC8S is the first car, but the CCXR is just so much better. It's literally just a beefier CC8S, but looks way better. It's full carbon fiber too, and it's exposed carbon fiber, which is beautiful. It looks so much better, and it has a lot more horsepower. Just an all-around better car. Coming in at the number 7 spot is going to the Koenigsegg Gamera, or Gamera, whatever you want to call it. I don't know. I'm going to call it Gamera because I think that's probably how you're supposed to pronounce it. It is a hybrid, actually, but it makes 1,700 horsepower, and it is all-wheel drive. Hybrid is actually pretty awesome, in my opinion. Like, I used to hate hybrids obviously with the Prius and everything like that, but now that we have electric, which is, in my opinion, even worse, hybrids can stay. At least they have something of a motor. 4 seats is even better, honestly. It's a hybrid with 4 seats, and it's actually technically the most powerful Koenigsegg ever built with 1700 horsepower, which is impressive, but it's not the fastest, so I want to make that very clear. It's funny because when Koenigsegg announced this car, they were like, oh yeah, it's a family hypercar, and people like actually took that serious, not realizing that it's obviously a joke. And because it has the 4 seats in it, everybody was like, oh dude, how are you supposed to drive your family around with a 1700 horsepower hypercar? You're gonna break your baby's neck. They were joking, man. They were joking. But yeah, the Gamera is awesome. It's the first ever, probably not going to be the last ever hybrid Koenigsegg. And even though I hate the looks of it, I got to appreciate it. It's also the only all-wheel drive Koenigsegg. Coming in at number 6 is finishing up the Azero line with the Azure RS. The Azure RS is the top of the line for the Azure cars, and it is pretty much just the best. It obviously comes with the same motor as the rest of the Azeras, just beefed up, a 4.7 liter twin turbocharged V8 that makes 1,160 horsepower, and it is rear wheel drive. We all know it. The Azure RS is probably the most popular Koenigsegg model out there, and for good reason. It's what got me personally into Koenigsegg. If I hadn't ever seen the Azure RS, I probably wouldn't love Koenigsegg as much as I do. But the one thing I will say about the Azure RS is it's a little bit too aggressive looking. Like, it has canards and like splitters and sharp edges and stuff like that. And it's kind of the reason, like, I don't know if you guys know this, but I'm not a big fan of the McLaren Senna. I don't like the McLaren Senna, how it looks. And I don't like cars that look like that. Like, I don't like cars that are super sharp and have all these jagged edges on them. And the Azure RS kind of has that. But everything else about it is amazing. By the way, get used to the twin turbocharged V8s because the rest of the cars have the pretty much exact same motor. So, coming in at number 5 is their newest car. A lot of people don't even know this thing is coming out yet, and it's honestly mind-blowing because it's such a cool car. It is the CC850. It is obviously to pay homage to the CC8S where they all started, and they're coming out with a modernized version of it, and they did great in my opinion. A lot of times car companies try to do these modern versions of their old cars, and they absolutely mess it up and make it look horrible. Cough, cough, Mitsubishi Eclipse Cross. What was that? But the Koenigsegg CT850 is a perfect representation of what the CC8S would look like if it was built in the 2020s. It comes with a 5-liter V8 making 600 horsepower, and it is rear-wheel drive. Or no, my bad. 5-liter twin turbocharged V8 making 1,169 horsepower, and it's rear-wheel drive. It looks a little bit weird to me, but what it's doing is insane. It has the freaking transmission, by the way. It's an automatic, yeah, but you can literally change it from automatic to manual, like an H pattern manual too. Not like, I'm not talking about those like automatic manuals where you just like push up on them and then it shifts gears for you. No, it's an actual like manual with a clutch H pattern transmission right next to the automatic, and that's insane. Coming in at number 4, however, is going to probably one of the more popular Koenigseggs out there, and it's definitely one of my favorites. Obviously, it's number 4. It is the Regera. The Regera in general is one of my favorite hypercars ever built, and that should say a lot about Koenigsegg because there's still 3 more cars to come. If this was like any other list, the Regera is number 1. But of course, Koenigsegg just has an amazing lineup. They come with a 5-liter twin turbocharged V8 making 1,500 horsepower, and it is rear-wheel drive. Of course, kind of all the same. Like I said, they're all going to be 5-liter V8s from here on out. I think, actually, I don't know about the last one. Yeah, they're all 5-liter twin turbo V8s from here on out. But the Regera only has 1 gear. It's really weird. A lot of people think that, well, I say a lot of people, but I mean me. I thought this when it first came out. I thought it was electric because I never heard it shift gears. So I was like, what is going on here? And I thought it was electric. It's not. It just has 1 gear. Koenigsegg and their damn transmissions are amazing. They make the weirdest transmission, and it's incredible. By the way, the Regera in terms of looks is 100% my favorite of the bunch. It's just that the other cars on this list do something even more incredible than the Regera did, and so that's why I couldn't put it any higher. Coming in at the 3rd position is going for the last of the CC Koenigseggs out there with the CC GT. The CC GT is pretty much the race car version of the CC8S, and it's actually incredibly rare. There's like barely any. As a matter of fact, in the background for this video, I'm gonna have to put up a video of a video game, so I'm sorry, but there's literally no like good videos on the internet of this car because of how rare it is. It comes with a 5-liter V8 making 600 horsepower, and it is rear-wheel drive. It's actually technically slower than the street car version because it is a race car, and when race cars are built, they have to, you know, be built for the sole like purpose of whatever class that they're racing in, and the class probably had a limit of 600 horsepower on their cars, so the CCGT had to dial it down a little bit. But everything else about the car is just so much better. Its handling, its grip, it's a literal race car Koenigsegg of a car that's already ridiculously fast, and that's insane. Coming in at 2nd place, though, is a car that I truly believe does not get enough love at all. It is the Koenigsegg 1-to-1. The 1-to-1 is insane. The name is not just like a cool little name that they gave it. The name means that the car has a 1-to-1 power to weight ratio, which is unbelievable. By the way, it comes with a 5-liter twin turbocharged V8, and it makes 1,350 horsepower, and it is rear-wheel drive. That means this car weighs 1,350 kilograms with 1,350 horsepower. It's a 1-to-1 power to weight ratio. That's ridiculous. Not a lot of cars out there do that. Like that's insane. I'm not the biggest fan of the looks because, remember, like I said before, I don't like the aggressive over the top looks, and that's kind of what the 1-to-1 has. But I would be an actual moron not to put this car as second place. The 1-to-1 is incredible. That's an insane feat. It's obviously fully carbon fiber. It's incredibly lightweight, making 1,300 horsepower. It's ridiculous. Of course, first place, I'm sure you guys guessed it, it is the Koenigsegg Jesko. The Jesko is, in my opinion, probably the best Koenigsegg ever built, although it's not my personal favorite. I would say my personal favorite is probably the Regera, but the Koenigsegg Jesko is 100% without a doubt in my mind the best Koenigsegg ever built. It comes with a 5-liter twin turbocharged V8, making 1,600 horsepower, and it is rear-wheel drive. And with the Jesko, there is quite literally nothing like it. And I mean nothing like it, because the Jesko Absolute is about to come out, and they're claiming that the Jesko Absolute has a claimed top speed of 330 miles per hour. If it does that, it will be the fastest production car ever made by a long shot. The most recent one was a Bugatti Chiron Super Sport or whatever. It has like a 305 or something mile per hour. But either way, the Jesko is going to beat it by 30 miles per hour. That's insane. It also looks incredible. The Jesko Absolute without the wing looks even better in my opinion. It is just incredible. If I could ever own a Jesko Absolute in my life, I would be complete. But ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of today's video. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please be sure to like, comment another brand that you'd like to see me rank all of them down below, and I'll get it done. Also, for those that are gonna leave a comment, yes, I shaved. Yes, it's normal. Yes, I look like a baby. Yes, I look like a nerd that you could steal lunch money from. But you don't have to tell me in the comments. I already know. Okay, I already know. Either way, thank you guys so much for watching. I do appreciate it. Das Vidania. Have a nice night.